Minimum wage does not work, and don't let dickheads like Nigel Farage tell you otherwise, because here is why. The minimum wage, if you are 21 and over, is £12.21. The average person works 37.5 hours a week. That is annually £23,809.76. So then we look at the average rent. That is £1,343 a month. A year, that is £16,116. Utilities, so that is just your gas, water and electricity. That's an average of £194 a month. That's £2,323 a year. Then you have your food, and this is all of your food that you are going to eat in a month, a week, a year. That includes if you're going to go for birthdays, little meals out, or if you're eating at home. That includes everything, and this is on average. So I understand that not everyone's going to do this, but this is what the average person does. Food is £466 a month, and that is £5,594 a year. Council tax on average is £95 a month. That's £1,170 a year. Broadband, an average of £26 a month. That's £312 a year. A phone, so that's your mobile phone contract, whether that's a SIM or a phone, £23 a month, £276 a year. Transport, £350 a month, £4,200 a year. TV licence, £14 a month, £169.50 a year. Personal care, that's your hygiene, dentist, medicine, stuff like that. That is £50 a month, £600 a year. Household and cleaning items, that's £40 a month and £480 a year. So that does not include subscriptions or home insurance, clothes, anything like that. In the UK, the average person spends £2,603.38. That is £31,240.50 a year. That is a deficit of nearly £10,000, £7,430.74 that people do not have if they are on minimum wage. Minimum wage doesn't fucking work. Minimum wage as it is doesn't work, and that's because the minimum is so low when everything costs so much. So when you have knobheads like Nigel Farage saying that they need to reduce the minimum wage, and that he was specifically talking about young people, but it doesn't matter, they still have the same bills. There are lots of people that leave home at age 18 and they still have the same bills. Don't let millionaires or billionaires tell you why you shouldn't be earning more money when you can barely survive as it is. Yesterday I made a video basically about minimum wage and the working class and how minimum wage can't afford you the average bills. People rightfully challenged me and said, but they're not paying the average, they're paying the minimum because they're on minimum wage. If we was to take the lowest 25% of all living costs and bills, people on minimum wage are still in deficit. You take the average wage in the UK, which is between 35 to 37 grand. After tax, pension, national insurance, that's around, give or take, 28 grand a year. Still in a deficit of the average yearly bills and costs. My main takeaways from this are, lots of people have no idea how things cost, and I understand that. Obviously, if you live in an echo chamber and you say if you've always lived in the north, you might not know how much it's going to cost down south. And that's why we took an average. But there are some people saying, well, I live in a 4-bedroom house in the Midlands and it cost me £800. Where I live in West Sussex, the average 4-bedroom house is nearly 3 grand. And some people might say, well, move. But why would someone move away from all of their family, their whole communities? And they shouldn't have to do it. It's what's happening in the north, because people are moving from the south to go up north because it's cheaper. And then they're pushing out the people that live in those communities because it then hikes up the prices for those people. People say if you work hard, you can earn more. And actually, why should we pay unskilled workers more than minimum wage? Because they're not skilled, they're not working as hard, they're not doing this. And it's categorically not true. As someone who owns my own business and I earn the most I've ever earned, you could not pay me enough. There is not enough money on this planet to pay me to ever go back into a cleaning role, retail, bar work, waiting, receptionist. I would never do those roles ever, ever, ever again. I worked incredibly hard and it was skilled work. I worked around the clock. I was going to college at 8 until 5 and then I'd get back for 6 to start work. And then I'd finish at around 1, work split shifts on Saturdays. I was on a 0-hour contract because during the summer it would be booming. And then it would come to the winter and there were no hours at all. Fast forward to now, I barely work. And when I say that, I genuinely mean that. Probably work about 5 hours a day, between 25 to 29 hours a week. I have 10 weeks planned holiday off a year, and I earn the most that I've ever earned. I work hard, but I don't work anywhere near as hard. But don't let people tell you, oh, it's because you're not working hard enough. It's bullshit. The reason that I got to build my business is because I was sacked from my job. I had the luxury of living with my parents at the time and not having to pay any rent. Lots of people do not have that luxury. My parents earned good money and they were able to support me whilst I didn't have a job and whilst I was building my business. It was an absolute privilege. People have told me, but you took the risk and you built your business. No, I had the luxury of doing that. The average working class person does not have the luxury to do that. They're time poor, financially poor, overworked. They aren't nourishing their bodies. They don't have access to the same opportunities. They're disabled or they're unpaid carers. This country was literally built on unpaid carers, and they make it sound like some sort of moral failing that you haven't been able to break out of the working class, when actually only 1/3 of people from low socioeconomic backgrounds the ability to upwards mobilise class. You have the absolute nut jobs that say, oh, it's the foreigner's fault. Shut the fuck up. I'm not even going to entertain that conversation, because the reason you're getting paid shit money from your employer has nothing to do with anyone else. It's your employer.